Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 13 of Celestial Journey. I want to start off by saying thank you for the ideas on how to detect the crop growth from last episode. I think the best idea I've had so far, or I've been given so far, is to use what's called a gardening trowel. If you right click a plant with a gardening trowel, it picks it up and the plant is stored in the trowel. Whereas if you were to right click I have crop sticks on me, a pair of double crop sticks, instead of picking up a plant, it just does nothing. So you can kind of test use a filter, right? It's after you right click, is the trowel like this or is it like this? Does it have a plant or not effectively? You can just test an equality test to the pre-state. And with that, you can determine whether or not you've picked up a plant. But we've spent a long time working on this project yesterday, so I'll do improvements to it later. Today I want to automate our collection of blood and get into Botania. So to automate the collection of blood, we have to upgrade our altar once again. Right now we have a tier 3 altar, and to upgrade it to a tier 4 altar, we have to replace these stone bricks and these stone bricks. So, these have to become runes, and these have to become, I think it's large bloodstone something. These large bloodstone tiles, which are made of weak blood shards, which come from killing mobs with a bound blade, I think. Ooh, there's a lot of bound things. A bound blade. Alright. Dang it. I had all these pinned earlier, except I updated the pack again and I lost them all. Anyways, the recipe for the bound blade, we're supposed to use the one with the golden fury. You can technically get diamond swords from villager trading, but I'll do it the intended way. So we're diving down the rabbit hole a little bit here. Hang in there. Golden Fury has this crafting recipe. It's made from Fury Fire. Kill the King of Scorchers summoned in the Nether with an Infernal Flame. Okay, so we have to make an Infernal Flame. And this is Infernal Sword. So do we have Purple Blaze? I know we've killed some of those blazes. We have exactly 8, which I think is enough. And a Infernal Sword, which needs 2 redstone ore. Alright, so I'll go make a Silk Touch pickaxe and go mine a couple pieces of redstone ore. I don't imagine it has a crafting recipe. Okay, and then we can go kill a King of Scorchers. Alright, here we are again on the roof of the Nether. I've since moved the quarry to the end where we can go get end resources. And I think we'll fight the King of the Scorchers here. So I think we just drop this to summon him. And you know what, we don't have wireless here. Let's grab some hearts just in case he does real damage. I seem to recall we'll have to fight a lot of him because we'll need a bunch of these Golden Furies, because we'll need a bunch of Bound Blades because they're part of Mob Crushers and the Draconic Evolution Mob Grinder, among other things. So I want to see if we can try to duplicate him with either of our current mob spawning techniques. In fact, let's actually get one more possibility here, which is the RF Tools mob spawner syringe. Alright, and if it doesn't work out, we'll have to, instead of spawning the King of the Scorchers directly, we'll spawn the regular Scorchers to get Purple Blaze and then craft this item. But for now, let's see. So I think we just throw that. Whoopsies. Maybe without a magnet? Is that not how it works? Do you right click it? There we go. Alright, so yeah, he shoots stuff at you. I guess we'll start with the mob imprisonment tool. Does he not hit you? Hello, friend. Anyways, that doesn't... There we go. That doesn't seem to work, unfortunately. Next up, the soul vial. Denied. Syringe. We can get essence from him. Yeah, that's a good sign. He has a lot of hit points, by the way. A lot of hit points. Anyways, once we have 100% full syringe of this, we can hang on to that for later use. And for now, I guess we'll just blast him to death. Very slowly. Believe it or not, we did it. We managed to kill a boss that could hardly hit us back. We were after... Was it this fairy fire? Ooh, we have to kill him 4 times just for one bound blade? Alright, so I guess now it's time to really hope that we can summon him with a mob spawner. Let's go build one of those. So to make a spawner, we just, well, we craft it. Then to test if it can spawn a certain mob, we can't. You take the syringe of that mob, you place it in there, and then it'll usually say both an RF number and certain materials you need to feed it. But since it says no, it doesn't work. It just means that mob is not like whitelisted in the spawner or something. Or maybe is blacklisted, I don't know. Either way, since we can't spawn the King of the Scorchers directly, as far as I can tell, we'll have to settle for spawning regular purple blazes. I suspect the RF, or not the RF tools, the Ender Isle spawner is the optimal choice for this. So let's grab a soul vial and go capture one. It's like the purple blazes know I'm looking for them and refuse to spawn as a result. I found just about every other mob, tons of regular blazes, but not a single purple one yet. How would you look at that? You're mine now, buddy. Pal. Alright, let's turn him into a spawner. Man, the recipe for a powered spawner sucks. The Dark Solarium thrusters take flight control units, and each one takes a bat soul vial. So we have to go kill, or we have to go capture at least 4 bats. And I think the easiest way to do that, well, first of all, I made the imperfect ritual stone to make it nighttime at will. But the easiest way to do that, I think, is to find a witch. I also leveled a significant amount of terrain here, which might help. But I'm looking for a witch, because I think when you kill them, they spawn like 4 to 6 bats minimum. Which is probably easier than diving into the caves looking for bats, I think, maybe. So there's our friendly witch. Could you not debuff me? Yeah, she drops a bunch of bats. Now we just have to hunt down these stupid things before they scatter all to the winds. That was more difficult than I expected. I managed to get 1. Anyways, bat wrangling time. Wrangling 4 bats was far more difficult than it had any right to be. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of making a spawner for those purple blazes first, I'm just going to make a spawner for bats so that I can make spawners more easily. You know, automate your automation first. So the reason I say to make a bat spawner first is that in capture mode, we can just put soul vials in here. And it takes it a little while, but it'll fill them with bats for us. It ends up being much faster than trying to go out there and catch bats by hand. So now that we can more easily make spawners, I'll go ahead and make a actual Scorcher spawner. Hello, how do you feel about signing your soul away to me? No? Alright. What about you? No, I already asked you. What about you? No? Alright, someone's gotta be stupid enough to do it, right? Alright, this idiot's smart enough to sign his soul away to me. I need both his signature and him. Hold on. You're coming with me. I need him to make a chunk loader. I've used up all of my loaded chunks. I'm not using it very efficiently, to be fair, but to load more chunks, I need to make the chunk loader, which requires a villager soul, but not any villager. It has to be a villager who has signed his soul away to you. Here we are once again on the roof of the Nether, and I'm planning on building our mob farms up here. I just like to put them here because they're nice and out of the way. And it's somewhere, you know, I don't visit often. I don't have to deal with the lag that the visual lag it generates because I'm never here, yada yada yada. and it's a convenient flat place to build. Our basic mob farm design for now will improve it once we have mob grinders, but I put this window here so it's probably easier to lift from on top. We have a powered spawner spawning mobs in, and then vector plates pushing them over to spikes. I'm physically standing here, they also aggro on me, which makes it a little more difficult because it makes them fly. But when I leave, they'll land and get pushed along by the vector plates. There's also a attractor obelisk here to help them along. Although once again, in the long term, we'll replace this attractor obelisk with a mob crusher. But we can't make mob crushers yet, right? We're on our way to making those. But the mob crusher will deal with the flying problem as well because it has more range than a spike does. Anyways, loot is either collected, will be collected by the mob crusher, or for now it's collected in the chest and distributed into our drawers, which are connected to the enemy system via a storage bus. Go away, fire. So this should produce our purple blaze. So now that we can make our infernal flames easily, we have to still kill the Scorcher, or the king of the Scorchers. And to help with that, I've made a RF Tools shield projector. This is a cool thing that can produce these shield blocks. They're unbreakable, and we can set certain properties for them. For example, they are hostile towards hostile mobs, or they're solid towards hostile mobs, and they deal damage to hostile mobs, and I can walk through it. Neat. We can also set stuff like items. Let's see. Items can pass through it, or whatever else. We can also toggle it on and off. Anyways, I put a spike in the middle here. I'm hoping that by spawning this here, he'll take damage from the shield and from the spike if he's standing on it. But it's basically enough that the shield can kill these guys without, me having to intervene. So I just have to spawn them in the shield. I should be careful about energy too. I may have spawned a few too many. Each time oh god. Alright, now I have to kill them. Each time the shield deals damage, it takes a little bit of its, internal buffer. So I guess I spawned a few too many. If I want to spawn that many at once, I have to, pass it a bit more power than I was. Looks like they might bug out when they die in the shield. Oh no, they just have a death animation. Alright, that's fine. Anyways, I'll kill these last two. Did they drop their loot? I hope they didn't destroy each other's loot drops. That would be unfortunate. I think they did because I didn't get any loot. Whoops. Alright, whatever. I'm going to clean up these two, and then maybe we'll do them like 1 or 2 at a time instead of 6 or 7 at a time. Once again, this time I added more extract sides on this power cell so that we can hopefully transfer more energy into the shield projector. And I'll stagger these a little bit. I also put a ender hopper here, which should hopefully automatically collect the loot so that it doesn't have a chance to get blown up. Let's do 6 at a time. Maybe that's a little ambitious. Oh, looks like I can. Nope, there's 6. Can the shield generator hold up? Yeah, looks like now it's able to recharge itself to full each tick. And as the mobs die, their loot gets sucked into here before they have a chance to blow it up. I think, maybe. There's a lot of explosions. I'm glad they're not loud. No, it looks like we still only got loot from like 2 of them, and the rest of the loot didn't drop. Okay, maybe 1 at a time is the way to go then. That's a shame. Oh well, 1 at a time. I made 2 more small changes. First, I increased the offset, the vertical offset, by 1 of the shield, so that there's a 1 block air gap between the shield and the bedrock. I think that way when items fall, they fall through the shield and land on the bedrock, so more easily to be picked up. That should also shield them from the death explosions of these mobs. But I think more importantly, I changed the damage type from generic to player. And I think that's because, here, I'll show you again on generic. On generic, I don't think the mobs actually drop their loot. I think they only drop these fury fires when they're killed by player damage. If we see that one there, he's almost dead. And you'll see when he dies, he only drops the 1 heart, and some essence. And those should get picked up automatically in a second. But it's not that we lost Oh, we didn't even get the heart. The heart might be out of range. I might have to move this chest, actually. Yeah, let's move this underneath the shield. But as you can see there, the mob didn't even drop the item to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's right. No, that's not where I want you. So I'm hoping that I tested once, but by setting it to player damage, first of all, can I still open this chest? Not while the shield's up. Oh well. You know what? Let's offset the shield vertically one more tile then, so I can open by chest. To do that, we just open, it's a shape card just like for the builder, and then increase the vertical offset by 1. Afterwards, you have to hit it with a smart wrench to turn it on. Maybe? Hit it with a smart wrench to turn it on. Not like that for some reason. What did I do wrong? I think there's a requirement that the shield projector has to be at least touching the edge of the shield it projects. So I just moved the shield projector up a block instead of offsetting the shield. Anyways, now I'm hoping that I can summon these. So I'll summon a couple at a time. Do note that in player damage mode, it takes additional energy per tick, or per, damage tick. So, yeah, make sure you're supplying it with enough energy, which we are for at least 2. And when they die, we should see that their drops both get dropped, they fall through, and then they should get picked up. And even then, this Ender Hopper doesn't quite have enough range. It looks like it turned off for some reason. Why did the shield turn off? Did it actually turn off, or did it just start being occluded because I couldn't see? Let's try that again. With 2 Scorchers. Oh, we're not running out of power in the energy cell, are we? No? But yeah, I might have to replace this Ender Hopper with like a vacuum chest that has a bit more range. So they die there. I think it's, when they're in their death animation, it seems to drain more power for some reason, which causes it to run out of energy. And then once they're done with their death animation, they go back to normal. All right, I guess that's a acceptable behavior. Anyways, you also notice we have 206 levels. These guys drop a lot of experience. They're like almost a dragon's worth of experience each. I'm sure we could put that to use somehow. In any event, now we have enough of these Fury Fires to make a few Golden Furies. 2, exactly. That's fine. We'll use 1 for ourselves and use the second one to make a spawner. Now we need binding reagent. So let's go craft one of these, or a couple of these, and then we can do some alchemy to make bound blades. First of all, let's deposit our levels so that if I die, we don't lose it all. Second of all, to make binding reagents, it takes a minimum of 400 will, but our lesser gem only goes up to 256, so we're going to have to upgrade it to a common gem. Good news is I think the imbued slate is the tier 3 slate, so we can make them. I just have to go fill our gems so we can go do the upgrades, and that's going to involve a lot of killing mobs. I made and charged our common gem to over 400. I actually haven't checked how much is this drained. Only 10. Okay, so we can make all 8. And here we go. Now once we have the binding reagents, we can grab our arcane ashes. I think I have one in my bag. And then we can start doing alchemy. So ashes, reagent, and sword. And I think the reagent is consumed, so we'll need another one. But we'll need a bunch of these swords, so 2 for starters, but we'll make more as we go. So, reagent, or alchemy, let's see, reagent, then sword. Whee! So once we get it, we can right-click it to shift right-click to activate, and it's bound to us. The other one, I'll leave it unbound so that we can use it to craft a mob crusher. 1 mob crusher coming right up. I'll try setting this up in the nether and see if it can kill the king of the scorchers. If not, I'll use it to kill regular scorchers. But for the time being, we have our bound blade. Now when we use it, it drains a little bit of LP from our life network. So I do want our blood orb in our altar when we do this. So blood orb in altar, let's fill it up a little bit with our own blood. Alright, and then much like before, we have to kill mobs with the bound sword. So you know how we kill mobs with a sentient sword to get the demonic will? Well, now we kill mobs with the bound sword to get demon will crystals, or whatever those were called. Yeah, weak blood shards. Now once we get a few, later on we can duplicate them with imbued slates, but right now, you know, imbued slates are a little difficult to make, and it's probably easier just to get more as drops. But we need 4 large bloodstone tiles, so we need 4 of these make 2. We need 8 weak blood shards. It wouldn't be too hard. I think we can do the same trick actually, where we hold this in our main hand, put our gun in our offhand, and we can kill mobs with the gun instead of the sword, because I think our gun does considerably more damage. And the drop chance is not 100%, so we have to kill a bit of stuff. But I'm hoping that within a few kills we can get a shard to confirm that this, at least that this method works. Come on, mobs, drop your thingies. I'll just do some mob killing. There we go, we got 1. The drop rate does seem pretty low, maybe 1 in like 20-ish kills. So these don't come easy, at least not at this stage in the game. But thankfully we don't need that many quite yet. See, there's another one. I put looting on our bound blade and it makes a huge difference. Now basically every kill drops 1 or more shards, whereas before, you know, only a small fraction of the kills actually dropped even a single one. So yeah, definitely enchant your bound blade with looting 3. Anyways, now that we have our blood shards, we should be good to upgrade our altar. I've upgraded our altar to tier 4. Mostly that involved changing out this row for blank runes and these capstones for those large bloodstone tiles we just made. Now, just because this is a tier 4 altar doesn't mean we can really do all the tier 4 recipes. If you look at, say, the demonic slate, we can technically make it. We have a tier 4 altar. However, it takes 20,000 LP, and our altar only holds 10,000. Now, if we are, you know, actively poking ourselves while crafting, then it is possible to do it. But I think we've reached the point where I no longer want to, you know, stand here poking myself the whole time while we do crafting. So I think let's make a few of the altar upgrades. Most importantly, I want the ones that increase the capacity of our altar, and maybe a few that increase the speed. So those are, let's see, speed runes. Speed runes are a difficult recipe. We don't have a blitz powder yet, so we can't do speed runes. We'll put those off then. What are efficiency runes? Are these new? They don't have a crafting recipe. I guess we can't make them. Anyways, runes of capacity are very good. These are I think these are a flat increase of 2,000 per, whereas the rune of augmented capacity is a exponential, like, I don't know, 5% or something, or 10% per rune. Somewhere around like 30-ish. Runes of augmented capacity become better than runes of regular capacity. And what's a charging rune? These must be from one of the add-ons to Blood Magic that I haven't used recently. But that's, I mean, technically we can make it, but let's hold off on that. So I guess for now, the only thing we can realistically make is a bunch of runes of capacity. Those take imbued slates. So maybe I'll make, like, I don't know, if we replace this middle row with them, that's 5 by 420. It's a lot of imbued slates, but I'll get to crafting, I guess. Time to put the last of the upgraded runes on. Once we have these, our altar capacity should be, I think, 50,000, which is a, whoopsies, I don't want my, what did I put in there? Do I have 2? Oh, one's my Silk Touch pickaxe. Anyways, now that we've upgraded our altar to this point, we have just under, or exactly 50,000 capacity. So I can, do this to, ooh, gosh. One more click and I would have died there. Anyways, we can now fill our altar, and then if I have to, I can step away and it'll keep crafting while we go. But for now, I don't need to keep crafting runes. I want to unlock Britannia. So I took a look at the quest book. The botanist journey starts here with Defensio and Aquas. I assume those are used, well, those aren't used to make the book, but I assume they're used pretty shortly thereafter. So I added those to our pin here, Aquas, Defensio. Aquas is the easier of the two. I think we can more or less just straight up craft it. Defensis, however, has a bit of a, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole here. So Defensis takes Carbo, Carbo takes Vitriol, Vitriol takes, that's it. So we're gonna have to, I guess, go through all these steps. For now, I'm not going to automate it because we don't have all the, again, we don't have enough, like I don't have a Cyclops spawner yet to make a bunch of Cyclops eyes. Not that I need a bunch, but I do need some. Likewise, for Carbo, well, since we can't make vitriol in infinite quantity, we can, but yeah, and we don't have like a cobweb maker yet. At least not an automated one. Alright, anyways, I'm going to do some crafting and make a small batch of Defensio and Aquas. So I've got my alchemy tables running in the background producing this stuff. In the meanwhile, let's try swapping the Mob Crusher out. Well, I guess let's first try seeing if the Mob Crusher can kill the King of the Scorchers. I doubt it, but you never know if you don't try, right? So let's see if I can get it placed here. Is that the right way? No, it isn't. Give me a wrench. That's the right way. I think it takes a range upgrade. Yeah, that should do. It needs some power. And lastly, I need to summon some of the Scorchers. I hope I still have some redstone ore. Yeah, I do. There we go. Plenty left. Just for test purposes, we're going to set this to solid as opposed to solid damage, so that the shield itself won't damage the mob. And I want to, whoa, it took a lot of damage. Okay, so the crusher, I think, yeah, the crusher does work on it. Wow, that's excellent. That's so much better than trying to kill those with these shield projectors. In that case, I'm going to need a lot more crushers, because being able to kill the, spawn in a larger number of these and have them just get killed by the crusher means, for one, we don't have to have this like awkward chest set up, and we don't have to worry about the shield taking, using too much power, because the crusher can do it. That's awesome. Likewise, I'm going to have to build a second crusher for this mob farm. I briefly turned off, and we're going to have a lot more mob farms, each of which are going to need a crusher of their own. But anyways, I think that brings us to the wrapping up point for this episode. I still have some crafting I have left to do, but I'll just do that all between episodes, and then we can, with any luck, get into Britannia for real at the start of next episode. Come on, eat the heart. I'm also going through a lot of life essence because of all the alchemy that's going on. So yeah, I think our next goals are Britannia and automated life essence. In any event, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.